Hello everyone, my name is Lexington Young, and today I'm going to be talking to you about an epidemic that has been dwindling a species in Africa over the past 50 years. It's a multi-million-dollar black market industry that is eradicating a species in mid to southern Africa. It's a legal hunt for just a small piece of an animal that weighs anywhere from around 1,000 to 5,000 pounds. It's the African rhino and its unique horn. I've always had an interest in the conservation and saving of animals from humans and their disastrous footprint in some areas of the world. I've done my own research over this topic for about a year now, and it's become an actual great interest of mine. The trade involving transnational criminal networks have been working mainly over the past 10 years to get this precious gem that is worth more than gold, cocaine, and even diamonds. The demand for these precious black market goods has increased over the years and has ever since 1960. But due to a certain law just recently, has this epidemic really just started to scare the world. The rhino horn has a huge market in Asian cultures such as China, Japan, Korea, and particularly Vietnam. Poaching of the rhino, especially in Africa, is such a serious problem and has led to the eradication of the white rhino. And the black rhino is also not far behind it, actually. According to the Rhino.org, the population of the black rhino in 1970 was around 65,000, and that population has dropped to around 2,300 in 1993. Rhino populations are drastically decreasing as time goes on due to poachers wanting the rhino's coveted horn. Which leads me to the question, why are these creatures' horns so valued, and why is there so many killed inhumanely and so unnecessarily? Also, how endangered is the rhino? The horn is so valued in many Asian cultures due to its belief of medicine and cures. It is believed to actually cure things from the common cold to anywhere to late stages of cancer. There's no actual factual evidence that supports the rhino horn curing any diseases. The northern rock rhino is pretty much extinct at this point. The only two left in the world are females, and they are guarded in a secure location in Kenya by armed guards 24/7. According to SaveTheRhino.org, the black rhino population has dropped 97% from 1960 to 1994. And actually, the increase of deaths from 122 deaths in 2009 to around 1,215 deaths in 2014. Many organizations and websites that raise awareness for the rhino don't like to specify or make public the actual number or value of the rhino horn, so they're actually not promoting the poaching of the rhino further. It's common in African countries used to make it illegal to trade a rhino horn, and many people believe that if it were made legal, this horn, for trade to happen, the poaching would cut down and proper harvest of the horn would actually occur. One farmer who I'll mention later actually sued the South African government to actually trade the rhino horn and won the case allowing it to actually happen. Security for the rhinos and African national parks that need protection. Rhinos, of course, cannot protect themselves from range bullet fire or tranquilizers, which initially sedate the animal to further in its murder. One great yet controversial organization is the VETPAL, or Veterans Empowered to Protect African Wildlife. This specific group is a group of U.S. veterans coming from all branches of service who have seen combat. Their goal is to mainly protect the rhinos and other wildlife that are in their small reserve just north of South Africa. They give rhinos a sense of security. They are armed with weapons, can be equipped with night vision, as well as some military-grade equipment like drones, thermal imaging to help them locate poachers at night. What people are doing to help with the funding of security previously mentioned, building more secure reserves and farming and tracking the animals to safely remove the horns without hurting or killing the animal. So poachers actually have no interest in gathering these animals' materials if there's no horn. The Smithsonian.com brings the attention to a British non-profit group that has been using technology to help detect and prevent the rhino, such as heart monitors and cameras embedded in the horn of the rhino. One man I mentioned earlier is John Hume. He is one of the largest African rhino farmers in the world. He owns around 1,500 rhinos, and has a team of experts that help him guard, track these animals on his land, and go through yearly to harvest the horns of the rhinos that need it. By doing this, it actually reduces the risk of poachers to kill the rhino due to the fact that the actual horns are gone. Since the trade of the rhino horn became illegal in 2009, humans have collected a stockpile of over 6 tons of rhino horn. Giving the rhino horn is the same price of gold. The stockpile's worth is roughly around $250 million US. This is a very controversial subject due to the selling of the rhino horn. But in the end, the money going to Hume from the horn allows him to continue running his farm and allowing his rhinos to thrive and enjoy their lives. Hume believed this is the only way to protect and save the rhinos. I mentioned earlier that Hume sued the South African government due to their illegalization of the rhino horn trade. He was actually successful, and now the rhino horn trade is legal. Since then, poaching numbers have gone down, but nothing drastic. The total number of poachings in 2017 was 1,028 killings. The total number of poachings in 2018 went to 769, dropping 259 killings, which isn't much, but hopefully the trend will continue in the future. As you can see, the rhino has one heck of a future. It's a disheartening thing to know about it, but the fact that there's a great cause out there to push for the elimination of the illegal rhino horn trade and poaching. There are many people who look at their value as a positive virtue, using the rhino value to its benefit and furthering the livelihood of the species. Rhino security is being upped every day with new weapons, technology, tactics, and people fighting for this great cause. People all over Africa understand this great species could very well be wiped off the face of the earth, and that would be it. There is help, as well as hope, for this wonderful, majestic species. Rhino populations are drastically decreasing as time goes on, and it is up to us to help protect and make sure the species has a thriving population.